Okay, I have surely covered every possible aspect of Coraline in over 25 videos to try and give you the most in-depth set of theories that ever existed, not just on Coraline, but on any movie ever analyzed. Now, I've pretty much hit a wall for what I can pull out of the theory I've given you, so now I'm gonna pretend like I've never done those videos and try to look at the movie from a new angle. An angle that, quite frankly, is going to contradict everything I've done before, but that's okay because theories are for fun, so don't take it too seriously and let's just have a good discussion. So, after talking about Coraline for so long, there's one big issue from the book that has bugged me throughout the movie. Why is there a fairy in the book? It seemed to be such an important clue to the beldam's history and power source that the movie completely ignores, and I just can't figure out why. I mean, I could understand the idea that the characters are difficult and expensive to produce, but that isn't the problem because we see quite a few random citizens when Coraline is in town, and they're only used for a few moments. We also have Mrs. Lovat show up at the end of the film to make a 10-second cameo that really isn't worthwhile or useful for the plot or ending, and it's not as if the director just eliminated one of the ghost kids to save money, they just replaced the fairy with Mrs. Lovat's twin sister. And then it hit me. What if the Lovats are fairies? I know that sounds bizarre, but hear me out. Here we have Wybie, a boy with no parents, supposedly being raised by his grandmother, although that's really more implied information than factual, but he definitely has no one supervising him. He's not supposed to go to the Pink Palace, yet he does multiple times. Once to drop off a doll he's not supposed to bother, and another time to attempt to get the doll back. Not to mention slug hunting in front of the house. Now, I'm sure most of us have met a grandmother or two in our lifetimes. Have you ever known one that doesn't tell you her life story every chance she gets? So if the doll is in a place where Wybie can see it, which obviously it is because he knows it exists, then Wybie knows what it's about and knows that it's changed. Nothing about Wybie and the doll makes any sense unless he's up to no good. Plus, Wybie is always outside around the Pink Palace, catching slugs, riding his bike in the orchard, delivering gifts. For a kid who's not supposed to be anywhere near a place, he basically lives on their porch. Constantly being where he's not supposed to be is even why Wybie was there to save the day. And look at his gloves. There's a skeletal type design that's eerily similar to the beldam's hands. That's not an accident because this is a cartoon and nobody thought that deep into it. Someone handcrafted those gloves for this movie. Then we have Mrs. Lovat, who owns the house but is way too old to handle it any longer. Why not sell it and move far away from the home that stole your twin sister away before it gets your grandson? I mean, I get waiting and hoping for the twins' return to a certain point, but once you're so old that you can barely walk without assistance, it's time to let that dream die. Plus, if Mrs. Lovat doesn't allow children to live in the Pink Palace, then why did she rent out the largest apartment unit to the Jones family? Nothing about that action makes any sense no matter how we try to justify it, or at least it doesn't make sense if Mrs. Lovat is a normal human. Then there's the missing twin, aka the sweet ghost girl. She literally replaces the fairy from the book. In the book, we have the pioneer girl, Huck Finn Jr., and a girl with wings that's implied to be a fairy, so maybe there's a reason for that? I know some of you will insist that I'm overthinking it, but Leica states that the smallest details tell the biggest story, and that is definitely a detail worth noting. So if the Lovat family is actually a group of fairies, then quite a few things actually make more sense. For starters, it would mean that the Lovats are using Coraline, almost like a sacrificial lamb, to lure out the beldam, perhaps so they can kill her off or find a better way to trap her. Or hey, maybe they're all working together and the beldam is like the queen bee of the fairies. Also consider that the well, a potential portal to the other world, is surrounded by a fairy ring. And that ring can be a symbol for danger, like the beldam is sealed within that space, or it can represent a portal to the fairy world, which could be the other world itself. Also, a while ago I did a collaboration with Phil from All Monsters Go to Space, who knows so much about fantasy and mythology, and Phil had the excellent information that changeling fairies use dolls when they target a victim. Now, the beldam made the doll, or at least we think she did because of the set of hands we see, but I don't believe any theorists have been able to figure out where exactly that room is, is. So it could be anywhere with any other evil fairy doing the stitching. Let's not forget that Wybie finds and delivers the doll to Coraline, making him an accomplice in her journey to the other world. And I said this earlier, but what bugs me is that Wybie knew all of his grandmother's stories about her sister, so he has surely seen this doll before and knows what it used to look like. Not to mention, how did he stumble upon that doll the day after Coraline moved in? So much of that doesn't make any sense, but it could be wrapped up nicely if Wybie is a fairy with a plan. Phil also explained to me that fairies and cats have a history together. Fairies tend to hate cats, partly because cats can come and go through dimensions as they please. As we know, the beldam says she has a problem with the black cat, but isn't it strange that the black cat is a stray, yet he's so obsessed with being around Wybie? Wybie doesn't seem to mind, but the cat has a clear fixation with the children and not so much vice versa. So could it be that the cat was following Wybie because the cat sees him for the fairy that he is? So the black cat is essentially watching Wybie in an attempt to keep human children safe from their fairy plan. Even in the deleted scenes, there is a spider, which is also connected to fairies. I'll let you go check out that video with All Monsters Go to Space because there's just too much good information to repeat it all here, but the more I've thought it over, the more I think that Wybie and his grandmother are fairies posing as humans, either for the sake of helping the beldam or for catching her to seek revenge over the fairy girl she abducted before. I don't have the answer for which, so you guys can fight it out in the comments. It might not be reality, but theories are more fun.
Fan mail, shout out. Fan mail, shout out.
I owe a shout out today to Bailey from Santa Fe, Missouri, who sent me a fantastic Fangirl line fan art as well as a great letter. Hopefully your Fangirl goodie package has already gotten to you, but thank you so much from the bottom of my heart, Bailey. Love ya! And if you'd like to mail me something, I have my P.O. Box address on my main channel page in the About section. I'm not going to put it in the video in case it changes in the future, but it will be in the About section on my channel page on YouTube, so thank you! Well, that's all I have for now, but this video's not quite over yet. I get a lot of comments that say, do a theory on this topic, but I've already done those theories. So please consider going to my main channel page and clicking on the video tab so that way you can see everything I've done. You will probably find a lot of things you like that you never even knew that I posted. I want to let you know that I also have two other channels, Say Halo Goodbye Gaming and the Fanily Family Vlogs. Thank you so much for watching, and I hope you enjoyed enough to hit subscribe and share. I can use all the help I can get to let other people know that this channel exists. And if you made it this far, leave me a comment that says something like, hey, I made it to the end. And then let me know what kind of videos you want to see in the future. I can't make any promises, but the more people that request something, the more I can look into it. Okay, well, I love you. I'll see you in the next video.